I've come to a realization, and it's kind of weird. I think we are made to suffer. I think as human beings, one of our primary reasons for living is suffering. And it sounds pretty insane, but I truly believe it. There are two forms of suffering: the suffering that we're destined to do. So, no matter what, something like death, that no matter how hard we try to avoid it, it will happen. And the second type is the one we consciously put upon ourselves. The the suffering we put upon ourselves. And I think we're made to suffer. The reason I think we're made to suffer is that all great things come from suffering. Or most great things come from suffering. And if you really think about it, if you think about the most successful people in the world today, they've suffered the most. But why is that? What's the correlation between suffering and success, suffering and greatness? Well, what is suffering, right? So here Oxford says the definition for suffering is the state of undergoing pain, distress, or hardship. So allowing yourself to go through pain, distress, and hardship willingly, willingly putting yourself through pain, distress, and hardship is the reason you are great. But how does this make sense? Well, because of change. When you undergo something so difficult, so painful, you are forced to change. And when this pain is not of your choosing, you don't necessarily choose how you change. But when you suffer through something that you consciously put on yourself, you don't suffer through it just because. You suffer through this pain, through this distress, through this hardship, because it's going to change you. It's going to change you in the way that you want. It's going to change you into something better. But why? Well, because it's hard. And I know it sounds super simple, but the reason the reason suffering is so important is because it's hard. Because hard things breed change. And if you ever want to be like those great people, you must suffer. And it sounds insane. It sounds like I love pain or something, which I don't. But do I love the idea of being great enough to allow myself to feel this pain? And for me, the answer is yes. I'm going to suffer, and I'm going to suffer willingly. And not only am I going to suffer, I'm going to feel pain. Suffering is the single biggest common factor with all great people. Ask some of the most successful people in the entire world. Ask them about their lives, about what the turning point in their life was. And I almost guarantee you that they're going to talk about a hardship or some pain or distress that they had to go through. And not just little pain, not like stubbing your toe on the wall, but monumental challenges that not only they had to go through, that not only did they have to endure, but they had to overcome. And this overcoming of this monumental challenge is what made them into the person that they are today. It's kind of like a phoenix. A phoenix is only able to grow stronger once it rises from the ashes, right? And it has to die before it grows stronger. And we're the same way. And this suffering, this pain is metaphorically our dying, and our conquering of this challenge is our metaphorical rising of the ashes, right? But you have to go through something so hard that you have to kill the person that you are right now in order to be able to overcome the challenge that you're currently in. The only reason you're the person you are right now is because that person is able to take on all the challenges that you're going through today. But if you ever wish to take on bigger and better challenges, you need to kill that person and become better. Then in Buddhism, they teach that desire is the root of all suffering. I agree. Honestly, desire is the biggest reason I suffer. So why do I still desire? Why why do I willingly choose to suffer? Well, because of what I just talked about. The only path to greatness is suffering. And to deny suffering is to deny being the best person I can be, being the greatest version of myself. So I take on Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy that suffering is the root of all greatness. So what are you going to do? Are you going to choose a life of peace but mediocrity, or a life of suffering but greatness?